Welcome to another episode of Wine Vault TV. I'm your host Jayson Bryant, and today we've got two wines. Quite an unusual wine is Pinot Gris from Waiheke, just off the coast of Auckland, and the other one is Sileni, which is renowned for their Hawke's Bay wines, and they've produced a wine called Grand Central, and it's a Pinot Noir from Central Otago. Now Waiheke I remember visiting when I first arrived back here in '98, and I was just blown away with the place. And there were quite a few vineyards. Stony Ridge was over there producing a wine called La Rose, and probably one of New Zealand's most well-known wines, if not the most well-known wine, being produced from here. And it's only 30 minutes by ferry from downtown Auckland, and now there's just been an explosion of vineyards right across the whole place. There's Man of War, Destiny Bay, Tefau, Stony Ridge, Obsidian, Passage Rock, and Tumotu and Christensen Estate. And going back to '98, there were probably only a handful, although some were being planted then. Right off the nose you get this kind of real lychee, kind of pear, bit of stone fruit, really hitting you. It's quite powerful. It's like that bit of 4x2 just kind of whacking you up the nose. It's done in medium style. There's quite a lot of residual sugar there. There's still quite a lot of firm acid that holds it all together, and it actually feels like quite a natural wine, and just very good. It all seems to be in balance. The fruit and the acid are all there. Neither one dominates the other, and the nose is great. It'd be ideal for seafood, especially kind of seafood caught around the island. If you could do, because it's quite spicy, it's almost spicy pear. If you did Thai mussels with that Thai sauce and that in a pot, and then add this as your wine, it'd be a perfect match. So I'm going to score that wine 88 points, which is pretty good for a Pinot Gris from me. The next wine is from Sileni. Now they've got their operation in Hawke's Bay, and they produce some great Chardonnays, and they produce some great other reds, mainly Bordeaux blends. Now this right off the nose is a bit of tar, there's almost a bit of leather there, blackberry, there's a slight hint of oak, but nothing that dominates the wine, not the oak monster as Gary Vaynerchuk would say. It's actually got a nice kind of velvety nose. It's really quite pleasant to smell. Very nice, dry, bit of tannin, bit of texture. It's quite long. Just a little bit of heat there that hopefully will die away as the wine ages. Not that we age wine anymore nowadays, we just, as soon as it's produced, it's in the store, it's picked up, and then it's pretty much opened. Hardly anybody sells their wine anymore, which is a bit of a shame, because I'm sure there are still winemakers out there making wine to be tasted in 10, 15, 20 years time, and we just don't give it the light of day to see probably a week, probably 24 hours. Probably about 20 minutes probably for most people. They come in, they pick up a bottle of wine, and then they're off and they're home and they're cracking it open with dinner. And not that you need to decant these anymore, because they're so highly fined and filtered, it gets rid of all that. It actually probably strips quite a lot of the taste as well. And people were just a bit scared of having a bit of cloudiness in their wine, or a bit of sediment kind of after leaving it for a few years, and so that's really taken a lot of stuff, and it's quite industrial style wine. Not necessarily these two, but what we're producing predominantly is that we don't want anything in our wine. We don't want any sediment, which is a naturally occurring part of the process. We don't want any kind of cloudiness, and it doesn't usually affect the wine. We don't even want a cork anymore. Everybody's a bit scared of kind of cork taint, and I still prefer a wine that actually tells you a story about the summer, what it was like, where it was grown, not necessarily who made the wine, but certainly the region. And this is a pretty good example of the region. Central Otago is still relatively young grape growing area and sits between kind of both coasts, but closer to the bottom of the South Island of New Zealand, and it's pretty much divided by the Southern Alps, which run straight through. So it gets a temperature and climate like Alsace, and they should probably be concentrating, for my mind, on those grape varieties that do work in Alsace, Pinot Gris, Gewurz, and I say this all the time, and I mean, who's going to listen to me? But it's got a very nice nose, getting back to this wine. And the colour's good. It gets away from Martinborough, which tend to be a bit more earthy, gamey Pinot Noirs, and they tend to have a slightly muddier, not muddier, but browner complexion, as well as this is really bright purple. And that's the difference, as well as Marlborough sits right in the middle, and it sits right in the middle of the two regions. And that tends to be a cross between Central Otago and Martinborough fruit. So you get a purple, can be fairly concentrated as well, colour of the wine. And also the nose tends to be a cross between the two, with the gamey, earthy undertones and with a very bright red cherry nose as well. So I'm going to score this wine 89 points, and for me it's an incredible value. I think it's about 28 bucks retail, and there aren't many Central Otago Pinots for that price, and that hasn't affected my score. I think the wine's really good, so 88 points is really good, I think. So until the next episode, goodbye.